Hey all, Siege here today. Today I want to go over something that was brought up in the comments section numerous times in my last video. That ties pretty well into what we've been discussing regarding the Lotus and the fact that she may not be leading the Sentients into a war with the Tenno, instead being a pawn either partially or completely controlled by something. The something is definitely up for debate, but there is a development found during the Orphix Venom event that I believe solidifies the idea I've been trying to convey, that we are in fact being led astray with the purpose of a war between the Tenno and the Lotus that many might not even be aware of, as it was a message seen and heard, but that most would not have had the wherewithal to notice. What I'm referring to can be found during Natah's transmission with the Tenno during the battle. Much like the Lotus fight, Natah periodically contacts the Tenno in the same drone-like method, sounding almost robotic in nature. At times. At other times, however, she seems to revert back to her old mentality, questioning even the things coming out of her own mouth during these sequences, as well as sharing information that she would really have no reason to divulge to the Tenno, unless there was a greater purpose behind it, something that is definitely becoming a trend with her. And as many of you found out, there does in fact appear to be something she's trying to tell us, but I think it's important to first go over exactly what this event was all about in order to understand the context of what the Lotus is actually saying. And please, for those in the comments already aware of what went down, don't spoil it for everybody else, okay? I realize many of you have already seen this, but after searching YouTube, I didn't find many videos actually explaining the situation, so I thought it important to cover for those maybe not in the know. Alright? So, if you all remember, Operation Scarlet Spear was the initial invasion into this system, the true beginning of the new war, with the Sentients breaching the Veil Proxima and attacking Earth. This was the first real coordinated attack against the Sol system since the Old War, and when the Tenno were successful in pushing them back and removing them from Earth, Era and his forces, as far as we know, appeared to just disappear completely. Without warning, however, Operation Orphix Venom, another sentient invasion, began using what I feel was the next evolution in the Sentients attack plan, born from the defeats surrounding the Scarlet Spear, as well as the aftermath of what occurred at the conclusion of the Heart of Deimos quest and the Lotus fight, respectively. And one of the primary functions of the Eidolon we encounter on Jupiter was to engage the Tenno, ascertain their strengths and potential weaknesses, and allow for a battle plan that could in fact neutralize their involvement in the greater war. And I believe this, and the information gained regarding the possibility of neutralizing the Tenno's Warframe, came to fruition during Orphix Venom. Here, the Orphix, a sentient that looks to be a variant of the Chondrix we encounter during Scarlet Spear, has adapted the unique ability to pulse the Warframes and leave them functionless, similar to the events depicted at the end of the Deimos quest. Does make you wonder why this pulse doesn't seem to affect the Tenno in a detrimental manner, given all the powers are supposed to flow from the same source, but if we overlook that, at least for the time being, I think this ability suggests the Sentients potentially getting word of, or maybe even witnessing, what happened to us on Deimos with the Heart, nullifying our Warframes in really the exact same manner. However, even if they were watching our battle in the Heart's chamber, it would appear their database didn't cover the utilization of the Necromechs, and thus, again, they were turned away by the Tenno, something Natah even mentions during the fight.
All systems showing D3 degradation. Did not anticipate Necromechs, but we will adapt.
And I'm certain some of you may have noticed the inconsistent tone of Lotus, how in certain sections of dialogue she sounds almost like a computer, void of any emotion in her voice, calling out battle formations and addressing the different Orphix with a seemingly meaningless set of designations. But then there are other times when she appears more human, contradicting herself and sounding quite confused as to what's actually happening, mimicking very much the speech patterns we were introduced to during the Lotus encounter. During the mission, she specifically refers to herself as a hollow vessel.
I speak for myself. No. I am the hollow vessel. The echo.
The echo, as she puts it, at first believing herself to be in control, but quickly reassessing the situation to question that exact notion. She even asks who woke the Orphix, sounding almost fearful as to who may have done it.
Who woke the Orphix? Who sang the steel lullaby to the viperous children? Who?
This could be her questioning if someone other than herself has this ability, or worse, if it maybe was her, but without her knowing she actually did it. She doesn't even seem to know exactly what the nature of her quote-unquote song is, and it makes me wonder if the Lotus is ever actually engaged in this singing willfully, or if someone else is doing it through her or forcing her to do it. Her statement of,
I sing. No. The wind sings by emptiness. I am the queen of nothing.
Seeming to potentially allude to something else breathing through her, if you will, perhaps periodically, perhaps constantly, and that even though she is revered as a queen, in reality, she's a queen of nothing. Because maybe now she isn't really herself. The entity she is the echo of most likely influencing or directly controlling her actions at this point, and thus being the true queen. You think about it. The most shocking revelation comes in the aforementioned battle designations, though, where she uses certain number and letter combinations to denote what appears to be the different Orphix models she's trying to direct. But it's within these numbers we potentially see a secret message the Lotus looks to be trying to convey to the Tenno. During these exchanges, we see
Orphix launch reinforcement across all lanes. Delta sequence A1. M2. Protocol in effect. We require sector control. Do not let them advance. All systems showing D3 degradation. Did not anticipate necromechs, but we will adapt. Adapt next series. Deploying from Y4 quadrant. We cannot be stopped. Deploying squadron I-05 to attack vectors. Do not let their old war relics interfere. Orphix N-6 series lost. Adjusting repeater deployment algorithm. Entrati interference must be cross-controlled. Segment G7 restarting.
And if we take the first letter of each of these designations, well, we see exactly what I've been saying. That the Lotus needs our help and isn't in control because essentially, she's dying. So here's the question that needs to be asked. Is this message a coincidence? If not, then is it a trap? As in, is she the one who came up with the message? Or is the entity who breathes through her the one who did this in order to try to trick us? Personally, I think she really is in trouble. After all, she's already, on the surface at least, trying to attack us. So how much worse could it be with her trying to trick us? If you ask me, her drone-like mentality during this dialogue reminds me of someone who's trying to keep this interaction as secret as possible, with these lines appearing to be excessively militant in order to not generate any type of suspicion, if you will. And if I'm right, I think this shows yet again that the Lotus is either under someone else's control, or is at least making sure they believe she's under their control, with the Tenno being the only group she feels can really save her at this point. The only questions that really remain for the Tenno are simply this. Do you trust her? And when the day finally comes where you stand face to face with her, what will you do? Let me know in the comments. I'll be interested in seeing if this piece of information changed anyone's mind. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video today. From my quick research, it didn't seem like a ton of people have actually covered this. So I wanted to make sure this little detail was addressed, as I think it's maybe the most important piece of lore the Orphix Venom event introduced into the game. And I'm guessing many of you had no clue it even existed. But that's why many of you come to my channel, am I right? At any rate, I hope you all have a wonderful day today, a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll talk at you all in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.